the question was, you know, what do you like better? What do you teach, linear or rotational? And Dave and I were at a park, and one of the coaches asked, what do we teach, linear or rotational? And it took me everything to hold Dave back from leaping over the table because it's a stupid question. And I'm just going to clear the air and clear the record here. It's a really stupid question. And I'm going to tell you why it's a stupid question.
So, therefore, I bit off my bottom lip and left the room. And then Andy talked, like he always talks.
It's both. And whoever gets involved in the linear rotational debate is just trying to sell themselves, or they don't really know what they're talking about. I mean, I've read Charlie Lau, and I've read Walt Reniak, his book, The Art of Hitting 300. There's some good stuff in there.
Yes.
He talks about extension, getting your hands out here. I've read Ted Williams' book, and I've read his disciple's book. Dave, Ted Williams' disciple is who? Who's the name just eludes me? Ted Williams'
disciple? Mike Epstein.
Mike Epstein. I've read his book. That's another good book. I would recommend buying both books. They're both good books. Okay? Walt Reniak is a linear guy. He talks about transferring the weight from the back side to the front side. He talks about extension. I think that's good. Ted Williams never talked about extension in his book. Unless I missed it. I've read it several times. But then at the same time, you know, Walt Reniak doesn't talk anything about hip rotation, so he missed the boat there too. So I think it's both. And you can't see one hitter. Every hitter. When I load, that's linear. Linear is anything that's going in a straight line. Linear, when I stride, linear. After my front foot lands, that's my anchor. Linear is over. Then I go into rotation. Okay? It's linear, rotation. If you're a straight rotation guy, and I've seen a lot of straight rotation guys, they hit like this. They don't get their weight transferred through.
That's a reverse pivot.
A reverse pivot move.
And what happens on a reverse pivot? Where's the ball go? If they hit it at all. And you know, if you watch Major League, the first Major League movie, Willie Mays Hayes, as played by Wesley Snipes. He did that just so because every time he hit the ball in the air, he'd have to do 10 push-ups. So he was doing a reverse pivot, exactly what he was talking about.
So I've seen kids that go to instructors who are pure rotational, and that's all they do. They go like this. And then I see the kids that go to the linear instructors, and they're so out in front of their front foot like this, they don't even rotate their hips. So I want to educate you guys that when someone tries to bait you in that conversation, just say it's both.
Right forward.
It's both. It's not one or the other. All right, it's a really silly conversation. And if you go online, that's all you hear. You try to look up hitting, linear versus rotational. You see these guys blogging about it and writing articles about it, and it's both. Okay? Just want to get that clear to you guys. It's both. Please don't teach one or the other. If you want to read two good books, I'd read both. The Art of Hitting 300 by Charlie Lau is a great book. Ted Williams' book's a little complicated. I would read Mike Epstein's book. It's a little easier to read, a little easier to understand. Okay?
I love Ted Williams' book because he was one of the few guys that was a great hitter and was able to translate how he hit. First of all, he had 20/10 vision, which gave him way better advantage over most hitters who either wear contacts or 20/20, whatever, but he had 20/10. So he was an amazing hitter, but he was able to tell the masses in a detailed and technical way how he hit and how to teach hitting. Epstein got from that. I thought Charlie Lau set back high school hitting 15 years because everybody was doing this on a front foot and there was barely any rotation at all.
Right.
And no power. And so all these guys saw that, Lau and then Hereniak. You know, George Brett was the biggest proponent of Lau, Hereniak, Lau, but George Brett could have hit any style. He just happened to be the hitting coach at the time. So it really, really hurt high school baseball. And I really don't think that it's recovered from that yet. So we have to get away from that. What Andy is teaching is exactly the right way of teaching hitting. There's linear, there's rotational, but there's some absolutes on this level. Go ahead.